And just like that, Creature Commandos Season 1 comes to a close with a funny monster. Well, it was actually quite heartbreaking. It wasn't funny. Well, there was funny in it, you know, especially Dr. Phosphorus and Weasel. You know, they're always good for some laughs. Even Frankenstein, actually Eric Frankenstein. I apologize. Of course, he is the monster. Dr. Frankenstein was Frankenstein, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he had some moments, although very brief. But nevertheless, there it was. And this time, the character study is finally for Nina, the aquatic woman. Not Aqua Woman, just, you know, sort of a female creature from the Black Lagoon. And how did she get like that? And oh boy, well, we get the story. And, well, yeah, there's a lot of mad science around in the DC world. So, yeah, but it's all very, really sad. And this terrible, heartbreaking story that she lived through. It's almost on par with Weasel, but something about Weasel, it's even more heartbreaking, you know. And she's really the most innocent. And, well, again, Weasel, probably on par, maybe a little more because he doesn't fully understand. She has an intellect and all this sort of thing. She can comprehend what's happening, but the world was very cruel to her, except for a handful. Well, maybe just one or two here. And they're on their mission to kill the princess. Flag has sent Eric to try to stop them, but, well, that doesn't work out. But then Waller investigates this because Flag is able to talk to her before he passes out again. And they discover that Clayface was impersonating the professor. That led them to believe that, you know, Cersei's vision was true and all this sort of thing, and that it had to happen. Of course, things are not what they seem, and you just don't mean Clayface. The entire plot and who's really innocent in all of this. Of course, Fish Girl was innocent, and the main drive of the story in each episode is the backstory of these characters. So you're given that background to the lead up of what happens, and it's all very crushing, you know, and especially the reveal that, oh boy, you probably didn't see it coming, except you probably did. But nevertheless, it plays out well. And I'm trying not to spoil all of these, the whole thing, because the show is worth a look, you know, and it holds the position, as strange as it seems, to be the precursor to this shared universe effort, the second one for DC. And so this is it. This is the presentation for it. Of course, it wasn't originally intended that way, which lends one to think about the previous episode where you got the little cameo of Batman. That pose looks an awful lot like Ben Affleck's Batman from Justice League. Now, others would say it's, you know, it's like the animated Batman series when he's on top of the opening, you know, in the building and all that. But he's in the pose in this one. It's just a little reversed. And he's all bulked up and everything. So, when was this actually drawn and animated? Were they still thinking that version of Batman was... Who knows? But anyway, hard to tell exactly how much, other than Waller is still, you know, there as part of this, and this is this offshoot with the really stretching stipulation that they can't do Suicide Squad because those are considered human beings, although they had Killer Croc on the team, you know. Whereas the King Shark, yeah. Whereas this team, they decide, well, the monsters can form their own team and be sent on secret missions. And so they'll continue with that until Waller can figure out a way to finagle to get Task Force X back and Suicide Squad's back on. But the members of these teams are, for the most part, human. I mean, even the bride, she's made up of parts of some dead humans, but she's essentially human, just remarkably transformed. Dr. Phosphorus was human. We saw it. Again, remarkably transformed. And, well, the robot was not human, so you got me on that one. Weasel... We still really don't know. He just came out of the woods, so we really don't know his origins. You know, we understand why he was locked up, but we don't know his origins. So, all right, you know, there's a question mark there. And then with this story, Fish Girl's human. Okay, I'm spoiling a little here, but she is. So, boy, they're really just sort of, you know, stretching the definition. But they decided, well, you know, you look monstrous, so yeah, we're going to put you on the team. So that's how that plays out. So anyway, I will spoil this. They saved the world, but it's all very sad. And so what were the implications of the nightmare prophecy? I'm guessing that's the end of it. You know, because it's one of these interesting things about DCU and DCEU, where you had the dark and gritty Man of Steel. He wasn't exactly accepted and everything. They follow that with a plot by Lex Luthor to frame him for an attack and getting involved in a foreign country's war or something of that nature. These are and then there's this vision that Batman gets of a dark, nightmarish future that dooms the Earth. Check. It's very odd that this continues to be what appears to be the direction for the Superman film and all that. So, well, so the art is here. This takes care of your nightmare vision. I guess there might be another one later. There's always one, you know, and that'll bring the heroes together to face the threat no single superhero can and all that. And that'll probably be their Justice League movie. But anyway, yeah, that is odd that continues, but. As far as visions of a nightmare future, it looks as if they averted at least that one for the purposes of this. But you did get your Superman cameo in that, and Wonder Woman and Batman. It looked like the Flash was in there, Booster Gold, and that sort of thing. But of course, Superman was the only one that they could show close up enough to look like the design that they are now presenting. So. Batman was cloaked in his cloak, and then darkened in shadows in his other cameo within the series. So, all in all, good enough. It's acknowledging where it is and that sort of thing, and that's about all you can expect at this point. It'd be interesting to see how the second season will look once they do another one, because by then you'll know a little more about this DCU. Provided it survives, because after this episode of DCU, Superman, and if Superman doesn't fly, I guess this is over. We may not even get the second season of Creature Commandos. I guess we'll get the Lantern Show and maybe even Supergirl, but if this bombs, you know, everything's again riding on Superman. So anyway, Creature Commandos. It was a fun ride. It's very gory in a lot of scenes. It's not a child's cartoon. And there's some foul language here and there. But, you know, I got a chuckle out of it. And that's what matters. I found it to be fun. So check out Creature Commandos, now streaming on Max.